أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. A very warm welcome to you. Today we're going to dive into a really profound passage from the Quran, drawing on some beautiful material compiled by Mir Ali Shah. And it all really begins with one central, searching question.
So let's just think about this for a second. What happens when a sacred memory, something that's supposed to be a source of light and grace, actually becomes a heavyweight? How does a blessing, a gift from God, somehow transform into this burden, something that could even be used as proof against us? And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? When we honor a memory, it's like a bridge connecting us straight to divine grace. But if we neglect it, that exact same memory flips and turns into this burden of proof. It stands as a witness to our own forgetfulness. And this is the precise dynamic that the Quran zooms in on in Sūrah al-Baqarah. So let's get into it. Our focus is this incredibly powerful initial call from God to the children of Israel. And it's all about one thing: remembering. Remembering and honoring a sacred covenant that was made between them and their Lord. Right from the start, this verse sets up three crucial pillars. First, remember. Remember my blessings. And not just in a vague, fuzzy way, but to actively bring to mind the grace you were given. Second, fulfill your side of the deal, your pledge. And God says, I will honor my pledge to you. And the third, which is really the bedrock for everything else, is to have awe of Him and Him alone. And what's so interesting is what comes right after this call to remember. It's not just about a feeling. It's immediately followed by these very direct commands. It's like a step-by-step guide. It all begins with belief, that inner confirmation. Then it moves straight to how you act in the world, your ethics. Don't sell out God's revelations for some cheap price, and don't you dare mix truth with falsehood. And it's only after belief and ethics are in place that the verse talks about the rituals, establishing prayer and giving charity. And then, then the Quran asks this question that just stops you in your tracks. It's so sharp, so direct. It gets right to the heart of that spiritual sickness, the one where you tell everyone else what's right, but you forget to do it yourself, even while you're the one reciting the book. The verse ends with this incredible challenge. Do you not understand? It's like it's shaking us, asking, are you even using the mind I gave you? So, how did the great scholars understand this powerful address? Well, they saw that even though God is speaking to a specific people here, the lesson is for every single one of us. This is what we call the zahir, the clear outer meaning of the text. And what's amazing is that the classical commentators are pretty much all on the same page. You have al-Ṭabarī, who makes it crystal clear. This is not an attack on one group, it's a moral wake-up call for any community that receives divine guidance. Then Al-Rāzī has this brilliant insight. He says the reason God keeps reminding them isn't because they're ignorant. No, it's because they are actively, progressively forgetting. And Ibn Kathīr, he really drives home how serious this is. Knowingly hiding the truth, that's in a whole different league of wrong than just not knowing in the first place. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's simple, but it's huge. Just having a holy book, just possessing revelation, is not some magic shield that protects you from falling apart morally. The only thing that works, actually living it, lived fidelity, embodying the truth you say you believe in. All right, so this is where we pivot. We've talked about the big picture, the lesson for a whole community. But the Quran isn't just a history book, right? It's alive. It speaks to us. So the real question becomes, what does this ancient story mean for my soul, for your soul, right here and now? And to answer that, we have to go deeper. We turn to the batin, the inner hidden meaning. And this is where the Sufi masters are just incredible. They look at the story of an entire people and see a perfect mirror for the individual soul. It reflects back to us all of our own subtle sicknesses, our hidden tendencies. Here's the first spiritual trap, and it's a big one, as explained by the master, al-Qushayrī. When we start focusing more on the gift than on the one who gave it, well, the blessing itself becomes a veil. It's like a curtain that blocks our view of God. We get so obsessed with the favor, the knowledge, the status, that we forget the source. And what does that lead to? Entitlement, not gratitude. This story takes us even deeper into this whole problem of knowing but not doing. He calls it the worst forgetfulness imaginable. Think about it. It's that danger of getting used to holy things, right? Our prayers just become movements. Our recitation is just sounds. We're going through the motions, saying all the right words, but inside, We're totally untouched. Nothing is changing. And then the great master Ibn Arabi, he points out this other really subtle trap. It's the trap of feeling chosen. That moment you start to feel spiritually secure, like, I've made it. That's the moment it all becomes a curse. Because that false security replaces the one thing a seeker absolutely needs: constant, humble vigilance. Every single moment. Okay, so let's bring all of this home. Let's take these incredibly deep insights and just turn that mirror on ourselves, right now, for a moment of really honest, personal reflection. And here's the guiding principle, the yardstick we can use. The real test of our spiritual memory, our knowledge, our practice, is what it does to us. Does it puff us up with pride, or does it humble us? Because real memory, real faith, it always makes you feel smaller and more humble before God. So here's the first question for ourselves, and let's be really honest. Does your religious knowledge, does it actually soften you? Does it make you more compassionate, more forgiving of other people, and maybe a little harder on yourself? Or does it do the opposite? Does it make you feel secure, maybe even a little bit superior? Does your knowledge become this badge you wear, this thing you use to measure and judge everyone else, while giving yourself a free pass, a kind of spiritual immunity? And this really brings us to the core warning of this entire passage. The most dangerous place to be is not out there in ignorance. No. The most dangerous place is to be a knowledgeable person, a practicing person who has lost their awe of God. It's when you get so familiar with the sacred that you forget to tremble. It's a closeness without that reverential fear. So let us end by turning all this reflection into a prayer. O Keeper of Covenants, please do not let our memories, our knowledge, our worship harden our hearts into pride. Return us to that state of trembling, of awe, of humility that once made us worthy of your trust. Amen. And this journey through the Qur'an, it continues, because what happens next in the story is just as powerful. We're going to see how even witnessing miracles, even being liberated from oppression, how even that can sometimes fail to change a heart that has simply gotten used to grace. And we'll dive into that in our next reflection together.